Hey everyone, I am Anthony Scott at ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we are reviewing the 6th box to FanHome's R2-D2 interactive droid. This includes 4 magazines and 4 bags to continue building R2-D2 and includes issues 19, 20, 21, and 22. Each of these magazines have different steps, and in this box it jumps around a little bit from the right leg to the continuation of the head frame, jumps back into the right leg for issue 21, and you're going to be assembling the logic function displays in issue 22. I also would like to thank FanHome for providing this box for review. Greatly appreciate that. Here's a better look at issue 19, as well as the bag that's associated with this. And of course you have the parts inside, which are of course the right leg, which you see here. So, taking a closer look at issue 19, other than the building R2-D2, there are some articles inside, including inside Star Wars Under Pressure, and for Droid Directory, we have FX series medical droids. So, just like the other magazines, the format is basically the same. You have the table of contents on the left there, and it jumps right into the first article, which of course is Under Pressure. Some great images in there. And a continuation of that. You have a look at the costumes worn by the actors. These are all great articles. Strongly recommend you guys taking the time to read them. There is a lot of really good information in there that you may not already know. Next article, FX series medical droids, talking about this particular droid. And a continuation of that, there's Darth Vader, after he was nearly killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's bring that in a little bit closer. And a new article, Robot Kits, talking about robotics. And a continuation of that. So, the last part of this magazine, you're going to be building the right leg frame and details for R2-D2. These are the parts inside, the right leg and the right details, and you're going to be assembling it, and there's a look at what it looks like when it's completed. So, first step as shown, then you're going to be placing it on as shown, and there's a look at the completed assembly. So, very easy to do, quick and easy. So what I'm going to do now is assemble this, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the completed assembly. These two pieces just slide in on the side, and I'm going to be holding it so it doesn't slide out. Here's a demonstration of that. As you can see, it just slides in and out. For now, you're going to be leaving it like this. In a later step, it's going to be a bit more permanent, probably when you put the other half of the right leg on here. But again, we're just going to be leaving it like this. And now I'm going to be moving on to the next issue. Next up is issue 20, as well as the parts that are included here, which are the head frame. So we're going to be taking a closer look at that. The magazine, you have several articles, and you're going to be extending the head frame, and that's going to be nearly completed by the time you're done with this. The articles include Inside Star Wars, Building a Better Droid, and Droid Directory, V-Series Supervisor Droids. So let's open this up. And of course you have the table of contents on the left there, and it jumps right into the articles, Building a Better Droid. Some great imagery and really great articles. Highly recommend you guys taking the time to read this. Next article, EV series supervisor droids. And a continuation of that. Next article, developing robot mobility. New article for robotics, some great images as well. And a continuation of that. So next up is the head frame, the sensor, and the leg parts, which you see here. These are the parts that you're going to be using. And you're going to be continuing the head frame as shown. As you can see, that is now nearly completed. You're going to be attaching it just like that. Screwing it into place using those nuts and screws. And for now, you're just going to be doing that. Make sure to keep these other parts handy, the right ankle mounting plate and the right sensor. You're going to be using those in later steps. So what I'm going to do now is build this, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the completion of the step. So for now, this right sensor wire here and this right ankle mounting plate are just going to be put aside. You're going to be using those later on. For this step, you're just going to be attaching this piece right here, and that is going to be done with the nuts and screws. So basically, you're going to be doing the exact same thing you've been doing, attaching the screws as shown right there, right into the nuts, and on top, you're just going to be assembling it like that. It's going to be pretty securely in. It's going to be a little bit loose, as you see, but it's supposed to be like that. So right now, I'm going to be moving on to issue number 21. Up next, issue 21, and here's a look at the magazine, as well as the bag that we're going to be assembling all the parts there. We're going to be taking a closer look at that in a few moments. But first, let's take a look at the magazine. Inside, building R2-D2, the right leg assembly. Inside Star Wars, the Return of C3po. And for Droid Directory, 8D series, smelter droids. So inside, you have the table of contents on the left, and it kicks right into the first article, the Return of C3po. Some great images from behind the scenes. Definitely worth taking your time to read this. And a continuation of that. You also have a look at some of the props right there for his head. That's very cool. Next article, 8D8 series, smelter droids. And a continuation of that. And moving into robotics, we have nanorobotics, an article about that. And a continuation. So now that we're at the end of the magazine, we get to build a new part for R2-D2. In this one, we're going to be focusing on the right leg parts and fixing screws. Here's a closer look at everything that's included. And there's a look at R2-D2's right leg, as well as the rest of the body. And for the steps, we're going to be assembling R2-D2. We're going to be using this part that we've previously built. Which is this one right here. So I hope you guys have been keeping all the previous parts in a safe place. And we're going to be using this part from the previous issue in this box. Going back into this, here's a look at all the parts we're going to be using. The rest of the parts are right in this bag, except the leg, which also came with the box. Or this was, I'm sorry, the first leg that we assembled. So there's a comparison there. And once that is completed, there's a look at the completed leg. We're going to be assembling this frame on here. And since we've previously built this leg, we're just going to be screwing it on there. So what I'm going to do now is assemble this, and let's take a closer look. All right, so the next step, we're going to be assembling this leg right here by putting this metal part on the back that we've previously assembled. We're also going to be sliding this piece right into here as shown. So for now, that's just going to sit loosely like that. And then we're going to be attaching this piece on here. And here is bird's eye view of the final assembly. Both sides. 8 screws are going to go into these slots, 8 black screws, excuse me. And then 2 silver screws are going to be put right through here. Let's just quickly go back to the instructions, giving you guys another look. There's the final piece. I originally missed this step where you slide this in, so just be aware of that. So once this is completed, you're going to be putting it aside. And for now, it is not going to attach to this part here that we've assembled in the first magazine of this box. So you can put this aside as well, someplace safe where these pieces won't get lost, as these are slide as shown. So I'm going to move into issue number 22 now. The final magazine and bag is issue number 22. Inside, we're going to be building the logic function displays, and you see bag number 22 right here, along with all the parts that we're going to be assembling, but we're going to get to that in a few moments. Also inside the magazine, inside Star Wars, the Riverboat Gambler, and for Droid Directory, SP General Purpose Droid. Inside, once again, the table of contents is on the left, and it kicks right into the first article, the Riverboat Gambler. And a continuation of that. Next article is ASP General Purpose Droid. And a continuation, some great images on here. The final article is for robotics, calculating machines. And a continuation of that. So, next step are the parts that are inside here. This includes the logic function displays outer shell, the logic function displays LCD, and the logic function displays mounting plate. And here's a closer look at that, including an exploded view. These are the parts right here, an exploded view. And here's a look at the steps that we're going to be doing. We're going to be mounting that. And then we're going to be screwing it in. And we're also going to be using some wires. So what I'm going to do now is assemble this, and let's take a closer look. So here's a look at the completed thing. All of this part is the assembly, completed assembly up here. And what I meant by the wire, we're going to be testing it. So you're going to be using your battery pack. You're going to be using this piece here, and you're going to be attaching the wire right there. And to test it, make sure the battery pack is on the on switch. And you're just going to press the button as shown. And you can also press the other button. So it's working good. And you can just disassemble it by taking this wire off. And to assemble it, you're just going to be putting these 3 parts together as is shown in the instructions, excuse me. And you're going to be screwing it in with 4 black screws. So that's the completion of box number 6. I hope you guys are enjoying the build for R2-D2. I know I am. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to FanHome for providing for a review. Greatly appreciate that. Make sure to come back and check out more FanHome reviews. I am Anthony Scott at toyhypeusa.com. Stay tuned for more coverage, and thank you.